Remember who you are. Remember who you are. I remember watching The Lion King, and it's currently in a remake now. Um, when Simba lost, you have to watch Lion King. I love it. Oh, I just can't wait. All right. So, anyway, so it turns out Simba is raised with his father, Mufasa. And as it turns out, guess what? Mufasa gets killed in a stampede. And so Simba goes out into the wild, and he's a young cub, and he has guilt because his uncle Scar tells him that, you know what, it's your fault, your father died. And he runs away, and he's in the wild, and he is meets a hedgehog and I don't know, was that a meerkat? I don't know. So anyway, he's somewhere else. He's eating food. He has to learn to eat food and do things like, how these other animals eat. So he's eating grub and worms and not the things that a lion will eat, or a young cub coming up into a lion, you know. And what happens? Eventually forwarding the story, he comes into who he is. He has to go back to the pride, and he has to take over. But one thing I remembered in that movie is one day while he's just laying around with his, the oh, it's not a hedgehog, it was a boar. So it was this wild pig, a boar, and I think a meerkat, and just chilling and getting used to eating grub. He sees something in the sky that says, remember who you are. He remembers his father's voice. His father says, remember who you are. And then he ended up having to go back to the pride, take over, beat Scar, and just, the classic scene where he goes on the edge of that cliffs, and he, or whatever you call that thing, and roars, right? He's a lion. He knows who he is. Remember who you are, guys. When you go through things, sometimes you're eating things that you normally wouldn't eat. You're in a place that you normally wouldn't be in. You want to say, God, I don't feel like I'm your child. I don't feel like I am a part of your royal priesthood. I don't feel like a Christian. I don't feel like this because of your circumstances around you. But you have to remember who you are. Remember who you are. Who are you? You might say, who am I? Well, if you have to ask that question, you need to get in the Word of God and see what He says about you. See His promises. Where He says you're the head and not the tail, you're above and not beneath, you're peculiar people, you're a chosen generation. Remember who you are. And sometimes our walk in maintaining and being who He has called us to be can be strenuous, and it can be hurtful, and it can be painful, and it can be just heavy. But you know what? Remember who you are. Remember who your Father is. Remember who your King is. Remember what this journey is about as a Christian. Remember why we choose the disciplines that we do, the life that we choose, and the rewards that comes with it if you deny your flesh. Remember who you are when everybody else telling you what you're not. Remember who you are when everyone has walked away. Remember who you are even if you don't have a college degree. Remember who you are if you don't have the great credit score. Remember who you are if you didn't pass the bar. You didn't pass the MCAT test. Remember who you are no matter what. If you're a child that has been abused, you are a victim of rape. No matter what has happened, if you've lost everything, remember who you are. The prodigal son left. He was eaten with the pigs. He was eating the pods and the pigs and the husk and all these things. And he came to himself. You know what? He remembered who he was. And he went back to his father, and he ended up he wanted to take a lower seat. And his father said, no, come on. He put a ring on his finger. He grabbed him and kissed his son. Listen, remember who you are no matter what you're going through. Don't listen to what the enemy tells you. Remember who you are. And if you don't know, get the Bible, read it, and you'll see who you are. Don't let people tell you who you are. They don't even know who they are. And the fact that they have to be trying to tell you something and putting you down, they have problems. They truly don't know who they are. So they must validate themselves by putting you down so that you can look to them to be the remedy, to be the solution to the problem. Because if they can break you down enough to make you feel like you're nothing, you're going to be going to them to get, what is the word? To be validated. People that bring you down and people that put you down and try to tell you stuff, they are normally insecure. They are normally kind of messed up and shattered on the inside. So they come at you like that because they don't know who they are. So if they don't know who they are, they got to tell you who you are. And most of the times they're going to tell you something to make you feel like you're below them, okay, or equal. So you got to stay in the crabs in a barrel state with them, but rise up and remember who you are. And don't look down on them. Pray for them. Those that try to come at you crazy, pray for them. Sometimes you still got to put them in their place though, but pray for them so you don't become hardened inside. Remember who you are. All right, guys? All right.